I really enjoyed How to Marry a Billionaire, A Christmas Tale. It might not be the most Christmassy film, but nevertheless, I still liked it. This was released in 2000. It's directed by Rod Daniel and is written by Stephen Peterman and Gary Dontzig, and it stars John Stamos, Joshua Malina, and Shemar Moore. And the reason I decided to watch this, partly because I love Christmas films, but also because I love John Stamos, and also Rhea Perlman, who's in it a little bit. She's not in a tremendous amount, but thankfully John Stamos is in it quite a lot. And it's about these three friends who are not exactly doing very well financially, and they decide it's time that they tried to get a rich girlfriend or rich wives because they're sick of girlfriends leaving them for wealthier guys. So they decide to flip things around, and they're going to be the one to go out with a wealthy person. And they decide to do this by pretending to be wealthy, which I have to say is a fun concept, and I think it worked really, really well. And it's set against the backdrop of the weeks leading up to Christmas. It definitely isn't the most festive film. We do have Santa Claus and a little bit of Christmas here and there, but if you're looking for a film to get you into the Christmas spirit, this probably isn't going to be it. But nevertheless, the Christmas aspect is there enough. I liked it enough with what we got, but I might have liked it a little bit more. But thankfully, the main narrative is really thoroughly enjoyable. The characters, even though I don't agree with what they're doing, they are very likeable. The performances were very good. I did think one thing in this was really predictable, but I will explain at the end of this what that aspect is. But I would have liked that to have been a little less obvious, but I'll talk more about that with a spoiler warning in a moment. It's a decent film. It's a fun narrative. The execution is really great. Obviously, we have some important lessons here about the fact that you shouldn't be with somebody just for their money. And also, you never know if somebody does have money or not, because they might look like they do, but actually we, the viewer, know that actually they don't. Also, there's a gorgeous dog in this. Really, really beautiful dog. That's completely irrelevant to my enjoyment of the narrative, but it was just something else that I rather enjoyed. So I do recommend it, but not if you're looking for a Christmassy film. If you're looking for a Christmas tale to get you into the festive spirit, this one isn't going to be that. But if you're looking for a decent narrative with some really likeable characters and a great cast and a nice execution of the story, then I'd say How to Marry a Billionaire is definitely worth checking out. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I will now mention the bit that I think was really obvious, and it didn't really ruin my enjoyment of it, but I did see the ending coming. I didn't know the specifics, of course, but I did think it was a little bit too obvious, and this is, of course, a spoiler. I don't have anything else to say about the film other than really recommend it if it sounds like your kind of thing, but not if you're looking for a particularly Christmassy Christmas film. So now, the aspect at the end, this is of course a big spoiler. I had a feeling that the woman from the beach was going to turn out to be really wealthy. And this is because when Tom, John Stamos' character, mentioned something to her about money, she replied there were more important things than money, or something to that effect. And it's because in that moment she didn't deny having money, or she didn't confirm that she didn't have money, that it made me think that there was something there with that character. I could have been wrong. It could have been the case that he was going to fall in love with her even though she didn't have money, and then he would learn that actually love is more important. But there was something about that particular moment on the beach. I think it was their first encounter, but correct me if I'm wrong about that. But to me, it definitely just seemed really obvious. But I certainly did not expect her to be as wealthy as she ended up being, because she was painted as being this struggling artist who's got no money and obviously struggles to make a living from their paintings, as most artists do. But there was just something there with that original initial interaction that made me realise there was more than meets the eye about that character. And I was right, but I definitely didn't expect her to be quite that wealthy. But I won't give away how much she's worth, just in case you do still decide to watch the film. Really enjoyed it. Definitely not Christmassy, but other than that, How to Marry a Billionaire is a pretty decent film.